Today by my friend and great American, Mr. Jacob Evans. And for those of you asking why we're running a little bit late, we just got our Dale Jr. Insert from UPS today, and so we were actually in the other office putting that together before we came in here. So that's why we're running a few minutes late. Thank you guys so much for being here today. My name is Scott Howell. For those of you that don't know me, I am an insurance agent in Athens, Alabama. We have agencies in Florence. We have an agency in Madison. We have an agency here in Athens. We are licensed in Colorado, which we're about to talk about a little bit. Colorado, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina. The purpose of this show is I want to give you guys a forum to get on live and ask any questions you want to about the topic of the day, or you can ask insurance questions and I'll do everything I can to answer those questions for you. And if I can't answer them, we'll answer them in an episode the next week. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here today with us, and let me introduce my guest. This is Mr. Jacob Evans. Jacob has just returned from San Francisco from the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. So there's going to be some stuff today that he probably can't talk about because he did sign some non-disclosure agreements while he was there. But we're going to talk a little bit about his trip, learn hopefully some really cool stuff. He's already been telling me about some stuff just in the time he's been in our office. And we're going to talk a little bit about your ride in a Tesla one day too.
Oh, yeah, that was
so
awesome.
Let's get started. Thank you again for joining us today. So Jacob, tell me, and I ask this question of every person that we've had, every superstar that we've had on this show. Tell me the seminal moment in your life when you were like, I want to do this. I want to do the computer, Apple, SEO, all that stuff that you're involved in right now. When was it? What happened? Tell us about it.
It probably was in high school at one point. I've had businesses myself with myself or some friends for years, since I guess it was 10th grade or even 9th grade. Had one of my best friends. We had our own small business, and I guess it was that moment when you bought your first web server and we hosted the Limestone EMA website on it at my house.
Absolutely.
And that was kind of the moment where it was like, you know, my mom helped me buy the server, I had to pay her back, and that whole experience of not having any money trying to start your own business, and I definitely credit all my success to my parents helping me out with all that. But that probably is where it really started for me, and that's where I started learning about hardware and web in general. And then I focused on hardware mostly initially, doing anything from fixing computers, building computers, and then going into learning about how the hardware works, the networking, all that stuff. That's really where it started for me. My one big pivotal moment though was I don't remember it was a Christmas or a birthday. I didn't know what I wanted for my birthday. And a good friend of the family said, well, why don't you build a computer? And that's when it all just took off from there. That's when I was like, all right, I want to know every inner working part of this computer. I knew how the computers work. I knew how to fix them, how to check for viruses and clean them up and do that kind of stuff, and how to set up servers. But I didn't really know the inner workings of it. And that's when, I believe that was when I was 16, and that's when it it was downhill for my wallet and uphill for my career. So I started doing computers, working on computers, networks, phones. We were at Canebrake for, 3 or 4 years, setting up phone systems and camera systems and all that. And then I got married, and I needed a job because my own business was just not, having my own personal business just wasn't paying the bills constantly, and wasn't going to help me do what I wanted to do for our family, which was move across the country to Colorado. And that was our goal, was to do that. And so that's when I took my job. That was just a couple weeks after I got married. Took my job at Periscope Up, and I haven't looked back since. I love working for the company. My boss was just in a couple weeks ago and had a blast. Got to show him around here where I grew up, and ever since then when I took that job, that was when I started going into the more website and the more digital age of mobile desktop, just there's so many different avenues. Our company mainly focuses on SEO and lead generation and display ads, but I've opened up the door and started our web development portion of our company. And when I started doing that, I started opening more doors up and wanting to do this and do that. And fortunately, the company and my boss Eric, he was like, let's do it. And that's when I said I had an idea for an app and had some ideas for iOS, and there were some areas that we didn't really know about until I went to the conference, that we could actually do more advertising and more marketing and more benefits for our clients, and didn't even realize it just because we were focused on Google and search results and things like that. And then that's sort of the story, quick nitty gritty of the story of my life.
So tell everybody, you get an opportunity to go, and I'm sure there's people from all over the world there. Right?
Oh yeah.
But how did you get the opportunity to do that?
Yeah, so I've been so the system usually is lottery based. It's been that way for a few years now, and there's certain people that had priority during those lottery systems. Like if you had a company with an account, you had app development, and you had this, like if you're a featured app, there's certain things that just kind of guarantee you in.
Right. Kind of like the Masters.
Yeah. It's like you gotta
want it, you're getting in.
Yeah, exactly. Or you got the money kind of thing, you can get in. But this year was the first year that they actually, the stats were 72% of the attendees were first-time attendees.
Why is that?
I think it was Apple's innovation of an idea to really widen the success of the company. Apple's only successful if their developers and the things that the people that develop for their devices are successful.
Mm-hmm.
And they were seeing an issue where people would try to apply for the tickets, and you could just kind of hit refresh a bunch of times, or have 10 browsers up, or all your employees go, okay, purchase,
Right.
So it's kind of like just who can hit enter first.
Right.
So they stopped that, and they let everyone apply for it, and they just did random lottery.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their criteria was for that. I like to think that it was because I applied so many times and didn't get to go.
Right.
But it also I met a couple people there, and one guy applied only once before and was able to come. So I don't necessarily know what I think it literally was as random as you could get.
Yeah.
And I benefited from that randomness. Yeah. And I felt fortunate and scared all at the same time, because I mean, prior to me applying, I really, to be honest, before I even got accepted to go to it, I didn't even think I was going to get to go. I told my wife, I said, hey, I applied for the Apple conference again. I don't think I'm going to get in. And I'm moving across the country, and I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it.
Right.
And all of a sudden, my credit card gets charged, and I'm like, whoa, okay, I guess I'm going across the country. And I called a couple friends, and I was like, hey, if I can get out, if you want the ticket,
Wow.
And they couldn't go, and it was just kind of like, it was one of those moments in my life where I was like, this is the world, or whatever you want to say, is just pushing me to do this.
Yeah, right.
And I've been wanting to do it. It just didn't have the drive to do it. I had way other things going on, like building a house and stuff like that. So I just wasn't on my plan. But I hunkered down and started a course. And
how glad are you went?
Oh my gosh, it
changed your
life altering. Yeah. It was one of the best experiences that I've been to plenty of conferences, been to some great conferences, and it was by far one of the most emotionally moments in my life, and also most technically and just knowledge based. I mean, my brain's still tired.
Right.
And it's been over a week. I guess it's been almost 2 weeks now. And so for me, it was just a once in a lifetime opportunity. And if I never got to go back, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got to say I've been there and I got to do that. Because every year prior to that, I would watch the keynote and watch the State of the Union, which is the developer side of it. I would watch that from my house, just watch it on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. You get to you get to watch it, and and there's parts of it that you're really excited about, but you don't get to hear any more about it. Right? You get to listen to it, because anybody can watch the keynote, and if you're a developer and you're a paid developer, you can watch the State of the Union, which I think they actually might have done freely this year. But either way, they've started to open this stuff up, and a lot of the sessions were streamed and stuff, so you can watch all that stuff later. But actually being able to be there, sitting in the Bill Graham Auditorium, and just sitting in, I got great seats. I sat at the front. I got there at 5:30 a.m. and it didn't start till
because you're so excited, or just
no, because that's what everyone else does.
Oh, okay.
It's like your typical getting an iPhone. It's like everyone gets there the day before.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let people line up till 2 a.m. There's people there at 2 a.m. and it doesn't start till 10 a.m.
Wow.
And you got people standing for 8 hours. That's how
Yeah.
And you would think, when you hear about those people standing in line, you look back at the Apple, the first iPhone, and people waiting in line for the iPhone, and how aggressive people are, and how mean, and you have all these like consumer-based people that just get, oh, I gotta have an iPhone.
Right.
It wasn't like that. Everyone was super friendly. Everyone was there for a common purpose. No one cared if they got the front seat or the last seat.
Right.
You were there because you got to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was worried about. I read horror stories, of some people were like, there's lines after lines. Apple knows how to do lines. And they do it better than Disney.
Right.
They queued everyone up. They had 2 separate lines. We actually got on the top balcony, front row at the Bill Graham Auditorium, and got to watch the whole conference like right next to it, and got to watch all the keynotes, speakers, everything going on right there.
So when we look to the future of Apple, and there was about 1.5 years or 2 years ago when I was watching something, I can't remember what it was, but the CEO was on there, Cook, and I remember him placing a lot of emphasis on TV.
Yeah.
What would you say after going, without getting into the nuts and bolts of detail, but what is Apple hanging their hat on right now?
I think they're hanging their hat on their software actually. They prior to going to this, I didn't really know what the developer conference really was all about, other than just developing for Apple. But they put so much emphasis, and they do a huge conference, a once-a-year conference, on their software. And so every device that you see, your iPhone, your iPad, your Apple Watch, your TV, your Apple TV, your laptops, all of that, their goal is to seamlessly connect everyone. One fell swoop. There's no disconnection. There's no you walk in your house, you got to pick up this device to pick up this device to do this and this. Their goal is to make your life easier, and obviously make money in the process. But that's the way of the world, and that's the one thing I think I got out of that, was that they have so much integration with their software, and they're opening up more and more doors. And that's something that they did at this conference that by far was not a lot of hardware news. Which is not common for this conference, but what they really did open up was they opened up doors of areas that were previously unaccessible, such as their Messages app. So your iMessage system now, you can build apps inside of it.
Wow.
You can build paid apps or free apps inside of your messages. So if you go into your messages to send a message to somebody, now you don't just have to send a text message or an emoji or a picture. You can send, now they have it where if you don't have an Apple Watch, you can send hearts, and you can draw on the phone to send to people that don't have an Apple Watch, or if you have one, you get to see it on your watch.
Right.
You have all those kind of great aspects that they're adding on, and then they also opened up map kits. Now they have access to their mapping system. So automatically, prior to that, you had to find some other mapping system, or you had to use some other tool. I met a company there that did that called Mapbox, and they had a great SDK for iOS maps, and it's different for that. But what they did for the map kit though for Apple is you can now build in and connect to it and build apps inside of it, or build tools inside of it, such as Grubhub or Uber. You could now pick up your Apple Maps, say pick me up here, charge it all in one app, not once leaving your maps. So you no longer have to jump back and forth, which is the pain of everything of the phones, is that we've started to want more and more just seamless technology. And so that's really what I think Apple is pushing for more than anything, is their ability to develop tools and software for everyone to use. And probably the second biggest thing that I was not aware of, but Apple is really pushing their new programming language that they developed back in, I think Swift was released in 2014. Not exactly sure, I think that was 2014. But they wrote their own programming language, because their language they were using was antiquated and been around since the 80s, or if not before that. And you're talking decades of code. And now they've all of a sudden created this new programming language that's open source too, which is something that Apple's never done before. This is not, open source means that anyone can have access to it, anyone can develop for it, anyone can talk to it. So now you have Google, IBM, you have all these companies looking at this programming language thinking, oh wow, your competitors in a sense are looking at your tools. IBM was at the conference talking about how they've integrated with the new Swift programming language and how they've built servers to run off of it. Which,
so is that a war between Apple and Microsoft?
I think.
Prior to this, keep the Microsoft, Google.
Yeah, so I think prior to this, Microsoft and Apple were your lead competitors when it came to like desktop computers and operating systems. But now you have a programming language that is pretty
universal.
That's universal. Yeah. I mean, that's probably the best way to describe it. It's one, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were literally talking about the fact that Swift could be the one programming language to rule them all. If you want to go your Lord of the Rings kind of reference, it's that's what it feels like, and that's how I felt while I was there. I was talking to some people that were I just learned it, Swift. I mean, like 4 weeks worth of Swift, which is not much in comparison to what you could learn. And not only that, they upgraded. They're releasing Swift 3, which is a new version of Swift in I don't know when, but pretty soon. I think at the end of the year, or it's already released or something. So it's the Swift language is great. It's open source and everything. But what they did, one thing that just blew me away, that I think was from my childhood and from my history of learning this and deciding to get into this, is that they have created a thing called Swift Playgrounds for the iPad. Which is a interactive tool for kids and schools to teach kids to program, which is free. I mean, obviously you got to buy the hardware, but they have education discounts. They have the ability for a school to get last generation iPads for next to nothing, or they also even have underprivileged school systems can get those whole systems for free. Grants and stuff like that. So they're working with education to build the future of developers. And if I was a kid and I had an iPad, today you would think you're just playing games on it, or you're just watching videos or something. And now you have a tool that's interactive. It's really cool. Everyone should check it out. It's called Swift Playgrounds. It'll be out for the iOS 10 come fall, so probably like November. You'll see it with the new iPhone release. They usually do that in October, so you'll probably see the full release sometime October, November. But it's interactive. Like it has one side where your code is, and the other side's like a game. So you're getting to play all this and do all this. And the thing is about it, the one thing that I did learn...
Little boys will love that.
Yeah, and it's like interactive and fun, and that's something also that I want to talk about here in a minute, is the diversity of gender at the conference.
Cool.
That's something that I think is really important. But the cool thing about the Swift Playgrounds, though, is that it's not just for beginners.
Yeah.
I was sitting in one of the sessions, and I don't know if I can talk about this or not, but I'm going to, because I think it's really cool, is that not only can you be a brand new person to Swift, you can be someone that has years of experience, but maybe you want to do something new.
Right. And
all those tools are there for you to play around with. So if you want to just test something, like they showed an example of testing building a world all of a sudden, like kind of like what is that?
Minecraft.
Minecraft, yeah. Thanks. So it's kind of like Minecraft. He built that in like 4 lines of code. And just was like, typed a couple things up, and all of a sudden it loaded up. There was something broken.
Right.
He saw what it was. He knows how to program, but it goes in, and he was able to pull GameKit and all these games, all the systems that were built in there prior, and it just automatically figured out what he wanted to do. Like it was like, you should use this code, or you should use this line of code, and it was things that were built in there already that you would not know how to do because you've never messed with it before.
Right.
So it just predetermines. It's like, hey, you should try this. You should try that.
Wow.
And I'm just like,
next level.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So, but that was the thing, is that you were talking about, little boys enjoying playing video games. The thing is, though, the youngest person there was a 9-year-old girl. I don't remember what country she was from. I think it might have been Africa or something, but, or maybe, I don't remember where she's from. But 9-year-old girl was here. She was a scholarship winner. There's 350 scholarship winners or something around that number. And
how many total people were there?
So I think there was around, I know there's more than 5,000, and I think there was around 6,000 to 7,000 people there. And it didn't really feel crowded that often. They do it at the Moscone Convention Center. The whole conference was at Moscone. It's a 3-story high. The first story was your lab, so you could go in and talk to engineers at Apple. I mean, I got to talk to Swift engineers to help me with some code that I was having problems with. And I told them straight up, I said, I've been doing this for 4 weeks. I don't know anything about this. I was like, I'm trying to learn Swift. I have very little, I just have, my background's PHP. I don't know much else. Right. And the guy just sat down with me. The guy that helped write Swift sits down with me, and helps me write my
He's
ticket.
like, I got you.
And he's like, I'll help you out, and showed me and was like, you got this wrong, or this is, and what do you think you need to do here? It wasn't just here's the answer.
Right.
It was, let me help you.
Yeah.
That right there was probably worth all the money.
Right.
Like that experience.
That's give a guy a fish he eats for a day, teach him how to fish he eats for a lifetime.
Exactly, and that's how I felt that the whole conference was. Just, no matter what I walked up to, if I had a question or I wanted to talk to somebody, even the people that were attending there, diversity was crazy. I met a guy from Denmark, met a guy from New York, met a guy from Ireland, met a guy from Orange County, California.
Wow.
And I'm from Alabama, and met a guy from Atlanta,
Right.
Georgia. I've got all these diversities, and not once did we go, we hate each other.
Right.
We even talked about gun control. Like that, like literally, we had conversations, and we all talked about the diversity and cultures, and not once did we all yell at each other.
Right.
We all, at the end of the day, had dinner and went to sleep and started a new day the next day.
That's all.
And you can't do that in most places. Like you can't even do that here in the South or anywhere in the United States. Sometimes you can't walk in and do that kind of stuff. So the Worldwide Developer Conference
truly was worldwide.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so so the thing about the diversity though that I wanted to talk about was it was the first time in my life I had to wait in line to go to the bathroom.
Gotcha.
You go to conventions, concerts, conferences, theme parks. There's always a line at the women's restroom.
Right.
I was at the Japanese Tea Garden with my wife after the fact. She came out there and flew out there and visited, and she had to stand in line to go to the bathroom. I didn't have to stand in line to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And I thought about that, and I said, the problem is not that there's too many men. It's just that the women need to that area they need more. If maybe they need more help, or maybe there's just not enough, or whatever the case may be. I don't know what it is, but I think that I know plenty of smart women, and I know plenty of people that women that could easily do that. I mean, my mom's a coder; she's coded before, and to know that I don't know if it's a company issue or what, but I think that women should fight for it, and I mean I know they've been fighting for years and all that, but I think that's what was missing.
Yeah.
I met a few women there, but not. It was like I couldn't turn a corner without running into like 60 guys.
Right.
And
it just was overwhelming.
It was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
But every time I ran into a woman, and there was women speakers, and the lady that helped create the new iMessages system and app system, she was the head of female, and she was talking about how fun she has with the emojis and all this other stuff, and it was a great experience, and I just feel like that's an area that
more women should
get into. I mean, I just think that's a profession that, I mean, it's hard. I mean, programming is not something that you can just do on the back of your hand. It's something that you have to learn, and I know some people that just know it like the back of their hand. And for me, I struggle with that stuff and learning that, but I push through it like everyone else does when you're trying to learn something.
That's right.
And you work hard at it, and if you love it and you want to do it, that's what you should do.
Right.
And I think that was the one thing I took away from it. I really was I knew ahead of time that it was going to be kind of like that. I read some articles, but it wasn't. It was an eye opener in a sense for that as well. So, but it was great. I learned so much.
Well, let me ask you this: VR. I hear a lot of people talking about VR. Is Apple? Is that an area that they are?
I don't know.
Or did they talk about that?
They didn't talk about VR at all.
Okay.
My opinion on VR is kind of like curved TVs and 3D TVs. It's kind of a gimmick right now. Until we have real world applications, which there are some for VR, such as surgical, medical surgery, things like that. They can, virtually go in and see that before they even do anything.
Right.
So there's definitely some aspects that I think they're beneficial, but I think right now, just like everything else, it's kind of like the first desktop computer that went into a home cost a fortune.
Right.
Until there's a consumer grade level need for it,
right,
I don't think you're going to ever see it in everyone's house.
Well, I've heard just from the people I listen to on YouTube and stuff that it's still 10 to 20 years away.
Oh yeah, just like the automated driving car.
For consumers.
Yeah, for consumers, that's both VR, automated driving cars, those kind of things are well in the future. They're coming because you want to talk about the Tesla.
Yeah, let's get into that. I want to talk about guys. Let me tell you my onus behind having him on the show today. I'm thumbing through Facebook one night, and there you are. In the passenger seat, I think you were you?
Yeah, I was in the passenger seat, yeah.
Of a Tesla.
Tesla X. Yeah.
Tell me about that. How did that happen, and what was it like?
So I met a guy at the conference. His name was David Webb. He's a great guy. Still talk to him. And we were just sitting and talking, and we were talking about how we were going to go to the Thursday night bash, which by far was
the best of the whole.
It was great. I mean, don't get me wrong, the sessions were great, but the bash, to see Good Charlotte in live concert, to play a song that they hadn't played since the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just not going to see something like that.
Right.
So we were trying to figure out how we were going to get there, because we could walk it. It was only like 15, 20-minute walk, and we were thinking about it. But David offered up. He was talking about he just got his Tesla cleaned and thought about, and he said, hey, you can ride with me, because he was driving in, and so I was just like, you have a Tesla? And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, what kind? He's like, a Tesla X. Show me pictures. I was just like, oh. I was like, yeah.
We're doing that.
I don't care about anybody else. Like, I'm getting in that car. Like,
right.
There's no stopping me from getting in that car. And so Thursday rolled around. We decided this on, like, I think Tuesday or something, or Wednesday, the day before. And we met up, and we run into each other through set. It's multi-track, so the session's going on. So we're running into each other. And we're like, where are we gonna meet? I'm super excited. I'm like, the whole day I'm thinking I'm getting in a Tesla this evening. I was like a little kid on Christmas. And then it was amazing. He'd been parking his car to charge at a Marriott, and they have charging stations everywhere out there. I mean, you can go online and look at the charging stations. It's all the way down the main interstate in California. It's just like every 15 or every 30 minutes or an hour or something. And so he was going to pull up and pick us up at the front, and we were going to take pictures with it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they were loading up all the attendees for busing them from the Moscone to the Bill Graham. They were offering free. They were taking a bus there. So, and so we were like, I was texting him, and I was like, hey, there's buses where you're going to park. Let's park across the road. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I finally saw him stuck in traffic, and we all just ran over and jumped in the car. We were like, we'll just do pictures later. But while I was sitting in the car, I mean, it's just huge, just 17-inch or 19. I don't know how big the thing is. It's a huge monitor, and it's all touchscreen. Right. And he opened the door for me through that. He locks the doors for me. The two guys that were with us got in the back. The door slides up over it like I don't know, something out of
the car off of Back to the Future.
Yeah, DeLorean. Yeah. It goes up, and not the Lamborghini style, but the actual up above. And we just drove around for a few minutes, and I got to sit in the front, and the windshield. That was something that I think all cars should have. The windshield from the front of the car all the way to above your head
is the windshield.
It's the windshield.
Wow.
So you can actually look up.
Yeah. And
you're seeing out of the car.
Yeah, it gives you more field of view.
Field of view. So, and he was saying that he didn't realize how handy that comes when driving. Right. And you're an insurance agent, so safety is key.
Blind spots.
I mean, I was just sitting in the passenger seat, and I was like, I can see everything. It's like, what can I not see? And he had the one he had was the Tesla X. It's the SUV one, and he got it so that it could sit 7. You can sit up to 7 people in it, but he got it with the 5-seater. So he did the middle seats when between the front and the middle and the back. The middle were captain seats, so the middle seat was empty because he does dog shows. Mm-hmm. So his dog could easily get in and out the back and everything. Mm-hmm. And so it was, and I was like, that was really cool. I have dogs. I was like, my husky could easily stand right there. I'm like, this is my car. And then we dropped the guy off at his hotel to unload some stuff, and then he got back in the car, and we let him ride in the front, and I sat in the back, in the middle. And I'm just sitting back there, and I had all this leg room, and the chairs were comfy, and you didn't know the car was running. I mean, you didn't know. Yeah. And then he was like, let me show you the power. Right, yeah. We're downtown San Francisco, so you only have a block to go 0 to 60, and I mean, the odds of that in an electric car, you think, well, that's not. My car doesn't even put me in my seat. I have a V6, a Hyundai Sonata, but he hit the gas, and it would just everyone sinks back in their seat.
Wow.
And he did it and the thing is, he did it and had to stop. And then did it again, and he could do it you go at 5 miles an hour and hit the gas and then lay off the gas, hit up the gas, and every time. Yeah. Which most cars, as that doesn't happen every time you hit the gas. You go from 0 to 5 from 5 to 10. Every time you do that, you don't usually get that.
Right.
That punch, and every time you got that punch, and I was just amazed. It was so quiet, and you just couldn't. I mean, you just didn't know. I was awestruck for a while, just sitting in the car, and then we get out of the car. He's going to park at valet. And he's like, let me put this in the front trunk. He goes around, opens the front of the truck, the front of the car and puts his the front. Apparently, the front trunk has a separate key that you can lock for valeting. So he put his laptop and stuff in there and closed it and locked it. And I'm just like, that's so cool. And on his phone, he has an app for it. He can drive it from his phone.
Wow.
He can back it up, forward and back. Can't do a lot of turning or anything, but you can do. But the thing is, Tesla even stated that I think 2018 or 2020 they'll have the car automatically drive from your home to your work or from your parking spot to your home.
That's what I've heard.
Pick you up.
That they're going to be the first automated driving car.
It's pretty much already there. I mean, I saw the technology, I saw the mapping system, I saw everything they were using in the car, and you know, that's the future, is that car. I mean, it's an expensive car, but you can get the Model 3 with I think the cheapest one's like right around 30,000, and that's the Model 3. That's not all-wheel drive, doesn't have all the but it still will have the software capability.
It would not be practical here because we don't have the charging stations, right?
Oh yeah, no, the closest charging station is Nashville.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have to install one at your house,
right.
and that's where it gets kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Is you're charging multi-kilowatt battery.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing
$700
it
power
charges
bill
instantly too. I mean, it's like I think he said that it takes 45 minutes at a charge station to charge his car from 20% to full percent. So that's like a basic. And he said he can go about 3 hours. He said it'd be nice if it could go 4 hours because that's when you're traveling long distances, it'd be 4 hours is usually your break time. But he goes about 3 hours, stops, charges, and then he gets out, has some lunch, takes a break, walks the dog, whatever the case may be, which usually takes about 30 minutes. So you got 15 more minutes there. But within 45 minutes, you're back on the road with a full charge and you make it home.
Wow.
And or if you're going really far, more than 6 hours, you just charge again. And so it adds some time to your trip. You could say it adds an hour per trip for every stop that you have to take. But but the thing is though, if you have enough charging stations along the way, and every time you need to stop, you charge it.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to stop for 45 full minutes. You can do quick, like if you're down to like 75%, you can charge it up to 25% in like 15 minutes, kind of thing. So, but it was just really cool, And my favorite thing about Tesla in general, the one thing that keeps me coming back to Tesla, that makes me want to have a Tesla, is they recently created a software update that increased their miles per charge. There's not a single car on the market that you can upgrade the software on to get better miles per gallon.
Right.
There's not. So they went.
What are the chances of a car manufacturer buying Tesla?
Unlikely.
Okay.
Tesla has the market. Tesla is. I mean, the other thing is that you have like Mercedes, like their own internal automated driving system.
Right.
Mercedes parallel parks for you automatically. Things like that. There's already the capability out there. So it's not in the best interest for any automotive company out there to buy Tesla because Tesla's worth too much now.
Yeah.
I mean, their stock's not doing too great right now, but obviously that has a totally different situation. But
So switching gears for just a second, we're going to have to go here pretty soon. And I want to talk a little bit about identity theft coverage for my...
We have a question too.
Tell me.
Shane Sharp asked, how different is coverage for electric cars versus gas-powered cars?
That's a great question, because I don't think I have insured a Tesla yet. Now, I'm sure there's probably some agencies out there that have. I think that overall insurance carriers do a very good job as quickly as they can. If when a new car comes out, they put it in the system and it's in there. But I don't know that we have.
What about the Leaf? The Nissan Leaf's fully.
Yeah, and Toyota has
one too,
the Prius or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that there would be coverage there available for a Tesla owner through Nationwide or through State Farm or through Alpha or through Travelers. More than likely, this is just my humble opinion, Shane, and that's a great question. I think that the cost of that coverage is probably going to be a significant amount more because of the computer technology that's just all over that car. Because if something did happen and it got wrecked, first of all, it's going to be, you're going to have to take it to somebody who knows what they're doing.
I mean, that Tesla is a $150,000 car.
Yeah.
So you take any, I mean, I know the Leaf and the Prius and those are a little bit cheaper, but most insurance, if I'm not mistaken, it's based off the replacement.
Right.
So it's not necessarily based on it's more safe or it's more efficient.
Well, the comp and collision coverage is going to be off of actual cash value of normal cars, but the Tesla first of all, you would never find a aftermarket part for a Tesla. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So great question, Shane. You're going to be able to get coverage for it.
That'd be a good episode, though.
I think it's going to be a lot more expensive. If in my opinion, I don't know how much more because I haven't insured one yet, but I'm guessing that you're going to be using the original equipment manufactured parts, and you're probably going to have to spend a little money to get that sucker fixed. But yeah, I'm sure it could get insured. Well, I know it could. They would have to have the ability to insure it somewhere.
Yeah, well, I think what you're going to find more than anything is as the more automated driving part comes about, that's when you're going to see a decrease in insurance. In my opinion.
Yeah, and exactly. And to that point, I guess to add to that, one of the things we're seeing is an increase in the expense for accidents because newer vehicles, the economy has been better. People are buying, the interest rates are low. People are buying new cars. Those new cars have a lot of cameras and electrical equipment and things in them it's costing more to fix a car today than it was even a year or two ago, 3 years ago. So got a lot more newer cars on the road, and I've even noticed that driving around. A lot of new cars on the road. So and then you couple that with the fact that we have a lot more distracted driving claims right now. Insurance carriers, and I'm going to pull the curtain back for everybody right now for just a second. Insurance carriers, in my opinion, are having a tough time staying ahead of a rate indication that they need for increasing automobile rates based on the fact that we're seeing a lot more wrecks caused by distracted driving and Snapchatting. I think we talked about this on a previous episode.
My wife witnessed a wreck with a guy on his phone hitting a car just yesterday.
Right.
And just not paying attention.
Right.
And that's where the smart cars will, though. Hopefully, that's one thing I just upgraded my sound system. I have CarPlay now. My phone integrates all with my car. I can talk to it. I don't have to touch my phone ever. I can text everything.
Right.
So I mean, there are things to replace that.
Right.
It's not 100% yet. And that's where when it becomes 100% or every car has it, that's when I think you'll see going from the rates are going to go up because of the distractions.
That's right.
Once they finally do get that peak, then you're going to see them go back down.
Right.
Because of the automated systems and because of the interactions that are less hands-on and less visual. You can just talk while driving.
I can't wait. I can't wait for George Jetson. I can't wait to just sit in the car and just sit there and, are we there? I'm gonna be that guy. Are we there yet?
Yeah. I was driving and I just got the watch while I was at the conference, and I was driving using Apple Maps, and it would ding and vibrate 3 times for left and 2 times for right or something like that. And so as I'm driving, I don't even have to look at my phone anymore. Like I'm in a rental car because I don't have everything hooked up, so I don't have to I can just like that.
Right.
So we're already getting closer to less distractions.
It's coming.
But I think like you said, though, more distractions are going to occur before they're going to get better.
Exactly.
Just because people just become so complacent with those devices.
So changing gears a little bit from that. Thank you for that question, Shane. Let's talk a little bit about identity theft coverage. I have had my identity stolen 3 times in the last 2 years. The last time, I currently have a security alert on my credit.
Wow.
And the last time was a Capital One card. And they called me and they said, the person that was asking for a card to be sent to them had all of your information.
Whoa.
Everything you have. And the only reason they did not send them a card, and it was somebody in like Wisconsin or somewhere, was they did not know my security password. And they called 3 times. They gave them my social. They gave them all my addresses. They had my work address. They had everything I have. Cell phone. They did not know my password to, I guess, the secret code password that you have to give. So identity theft coverage, guys, is now offered through most insurance carriers. Amanda, I think ours is $45 a year. Is that right? I confirmed this morning State Farm's is $25 a year for identity theft coverage, and I believe that even comes with $25,000 of extra of expense coverage if I guess you have to spend money to get your identity back. We have a team at Nationwide that does nothing but take the burden of getting your identity back off of you, and they basically take over the claim and start the process of repairing your identity. So,
so you've had it happen 3 times?
3 times.
So,
3 times
that's
in
interesting,
2 years.
The fact that, I've
never had it.
Knock on wood. I've never had.
Are you going with it's because you're using Apple products? Is that where you're headed with that?
No. Well, I will say that they did talk a lot about security, and there is a lot of security around the Apple products and the NF. I think it's called NFS chip or whatever. Someone can correct me on that one. But the chip that's built into the new iPhones with the Touch IDs and everything for Apple Pay and all that.
Maybe we just hit on a question somebody needs to ask. Because I'm an Android guy, you know all the Android devices sitting here right now. What is the percentage increase in identity theft from an Apple user to a Android user, Google user? I have no idea.
That's a great statistic.
Because you're telling me you've never had yours stolen. I've had mine stolen 3 times.
I haven't. I'm on the internet and ordering stuff on the internet probably more than you are.
But you're using a Mac.
I use a Mac. I use all Apple products. I use iPads. Everything is Apple for me. But that's not. I love Apple, but I've also played with Androids and tried those. And I have a Windows computer and stuff. But most of all my purchases go through that. The other thing is that something that a lot of people just don't think about is when you do have identity theft in general, you have to be aware of what you're doing on the internet. The internet is not it's like the Wild West.
There's no more privacy.
There's no privacy. Anything you post on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or any of that, even Snapchat with it being supposedly disappearing, still it's all out there on the web for someone to see at some point in time.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing that I tell people even today, and I've been telling people since I was fixing computers for viruses, be aware of where you are on the web. If you're on Facebook and you click a link, and now you're at this other website,
right?
And then you click on another link or an ad, it takes you over here, and now all of a sudden you're 6 websites down the road. You don't even know what you're on. You don't even know this company anymore. Be aware of that. Only buy from accredited companies. Buy from companies that have there's a tool called Google Trust Purchases or something like that, and actually give you liability protection on the purchase and stuff.
Awesome.
When you order, I order stuff from Newegg, which is a computer company that sells computer parts. I'd order from them, and they have that ebags.com. I just ordered a backpack from them. They have a trust system with Google. It's a Google Wallet trust. I don't know how it works, but
do you still use Prime a lot?
Oh, that's all I use,
I use Prime.
And pretty much 90% of my purchases are from Amazon, probably, if I had to take a number.
And I've heard from different people that guy that runs Amazon is just a beast.
Well, the guy that started Prime, actually, I found out, that helped start all that whole process, actually left and went to Uber. He's actually working at Uber he's the chief operating officer or something like that.
So he's like the number 3 guy at Uber?
Yeah.
What do you think he's making a year?
I don't know. He's a fortune, but no, that's the identity theft. Those are great. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't talk about that enough, but when I do talk to people about viruses or people are like, hey, I got a problem with my computer, and I tell people, biggest thing is I had an older couple that called me and said, hey, my husband's on the phone with this company saying they need to remote in. And I'm like, whoa, how did you even get here? And they're like, well, it popped up on our computer and this, and I said, no,
hang the phone up.
And they wouldn't, and I was just like, no, get off the phone. And I said, pull the power plug on your computer, unplug everything, disconnect completely. They have access to your computer now. And I had to reinstall their whole operating system and everything from scratch because there was no proof that they were on there, but they were. You just don't know. You have to be better safe than sorry. And so then that's a cost and expense. A lot of expenses involved with identity theft that a lot of people don't even do or realize.
Well, if anybody's ever had it and gone through and literally. And I've never had it where somebody, bought a ton of stuff. But I have had credit cards.
Well, I had one of my debit cards. Take that back. I did have a debit card of mine with my account, my simple account that I have. It got used in. I went on a cruise, and on my way back from Miami, my card had gotten used at a couple Walgreens, and I was already home. I don't know if that's more of a card skimmer
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people do those skimmer, and those are hard to see now. They've gotten really good at those. And I think I had to use an ATM or something at one point. So
you see them around here. They put them in the gas.
Yeah.
Slot,
they're not. I mean, they're really. I mean, all they do, they're just magnetic strip readers, and and then you still pay for your gas. I mean, you don't even know. But that's definitely, people just need to be, with this day and age, with this technology, just be more aware.
Yeah.
You know, don't just take everything for granted, or make you think things are just easy because they're simple to use. You know, I don't just go online and buy anything. If I find a good deal, I research the company before I buy it. The only reason I bought the backpack from this company is apparently I bought from them a long time ago, you know, and didn't realize it. So, you know, you gotta be careful with that. And I think just by being careful on the web, you will see a decrease in identity theft and decrease in those problems. Yeah. So, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, guys, it has been a pleasure. This is Scott Howell. This is Jacob Evans. We are so proud to be coming at you today. I hope we were able to provide some value to you today. I know Dale Earnhardt Jr. was happy to be here with us today, and so was Peyton. Thank you, guys. Our next episode, we're bringing in another superstar. And next week, I think it's going to be a former athlete. So we'll see who that's going to be. Next Thursday, 2 o'clock. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. My name is Scott Howell. Scott Howell & Associates, Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. Have a great day. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was awesome.
Great.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Always enjoy it. Let me turn this off. Stop broadcast. Athens.